With the latest chapter of Blue Lock showing us one new and one confirmed new Gen 11, I thought it'd be cool to rank all of the new Gen 11 and how they scale to each other. Before we begin, please like and subscribe. I need the money. First, I have tried to rank players before, like on TikTok and stuff, and people are always like, "Oh, they're different positions. You cannot compare them." Shut up. Yes, you can. Blue Lock is half shonen, half soccer, so you can just scale narratively. Also, for example, if IQ blocks 99% of Isagi's shots, then IQ is better, and if Isagi makes 99% of his shots on IQ, then Isagi is better. That's just how it works as a shonen manga. Anyway, I want to rank this by giving you my list and then explaining it as you have to talk about like each of the new Gen 11 to rank the others, if that makes sense. So without further ado, here's my list. At number 1, we have Loki. At number 2, we have Hugo. At number 3, we have Bunny. However, you could swap those if you really wanted to. At number 4, we have Sai. Number 5 is Kaiser. And sadly, at number 6, we have Lorenzo. No slight to Lorenzo, I will explain this in a second. So out of this list, it's easiest to scale from down to up. So let's start with Lorenzo. So Kaiser is definitely better than him. That's a fact. In Ubers, he was said to be a game changer, and additionally, Lorenzo could not block out Kaiser. People think Kaiser took the first chance to get Lorenzo off his back and didn't know when it was going to happen, but that's just untrue. Isagi says that Kaiser was able to anticipate everything and caught everyone by surprise, so not only did he read Isagi's metavision perfectly, he was able to react instantaneously to the opening provided by Lorenzo and then the jumpening by Ubers, so that skill alone just puts Kaiser above Lorenzo for me. Additionally, the bids, and while I know the bids aren't really like a set way to scale characters, it does paint a picture that Lorenzo is a money-hungry freak, and yet Kaiser is this much ahead of him. Additionally, it isn't stated anywhere that Lorenzo gave Rin a particularly hard time against Lorenzo, which is very important for a later scaling. So if we equate Rin, Isagi, and Kaiser, which yes is how the story wants you to look at it, for a quick summary of what I mean, Isagi has Metavision and Rin has Predator Eye. Kaiser has both. Isagi specializes in direct shots, Rin specializes in curve shots. Kaiser does both. Like, you get my point. Kaiser is like the middle ground of Isagi and Rin, which with a slight lean towards Isagi in my opinion. Anyway, by scaling them as very, very, very similar and having Kaiser already overcome Lorenzo, as well as Rin not being stated to struggle against Lorenzo in the slightest, and lastly, Isagi becoming much better than where he was when he went against Ubers, just makes the Dawn the worst new Gen 11, which isn't the worst thing in the world, because he would probably still cook in any game he participated in. He's just being ranked up against beasts. And using the same scaling trick, you can logic out that Rin saw Sai's Phantom and believes he is still worse than Sai, and additionally Sai stating that Blue Lock should have won 8-0. It's very easy to state that Sai is still a decent amount better than Rin, who Kaiser scales to, so you could just say Sai is better than Kaiser. Boom, we're already halfway up the list. Now, it's very clear narratively that Bunny is better than Sai off of this panel here, and the whole thing of Sai's dream being crushed and Bunny hating people that have dreams. So you can easily logic out that Bunny is greater than Sai. The issue is by how much. Just to skip ahead, and this makes it very easy for me to explain this, Loki is number 1. He is literally stated by Noah that he is the biggest threat to him. He wins. He's the only one in the conversation about, like, world's best. Under 20, sure, you could put like any of these guys up in the conversation, but Loki's the only one that makes it past under 20. The issue is where to put Hugo, and it's either above or below Bunny. So I think Isagi and Hugo are very similar in the sense that yes, Isagi did not score until the last 2 seconds of the game, but was pivotal to every play as stated by Kuso. However, Hugo stated that Isagi's adaptability is inconsistent. Not bad, just inconsistent. So this kind of implies that Hugo's adaptability is consistent, or he knows how to be consistent with his own play. Additionally, his physique doesn't seem anything too crazy, so I'm going to equate him to a Nigeria Isagi but leveled up severely. Maybe he's a bit taller than Isagi, but Isagi has that ambidexterity, so maybe it's more like that. Narratively, if we have Sai running ones on Bunny, and you want Isagi, who by the end of the PXG game and that like training between the U20 World Cup and the end of the NEL, is like around Sai's level, probably worse, but at absolute highest equal to Sai, then you'd want Hugo to be above Bunny so that by the end of the arc, Isagi is better than Sai, which is what I think the story wants to do. If the story is that Isagi runs ones on Hugo and then wins, then teams up with Sai to beat Bunny, then Hugo is down here. So what do I think the story is going to do? I think no matter what, I think we can all agree Loki is number one no matter what. So if we look at his conversation with Hugo and the fact that Loki is genuinely asking for Hugo's opinion about Isagi, as they both did just watch the game. So this conversation shows that Hugo has a higher game IQ than Loki, which makes me think that, hey, this could be like a Loki-Hugo relationship in the same way as an Isagi-Rin relationship. As an individual talent, Loki is better. Same way how individual talent Rin is better. But in team play and IQ, Isagi and Hugo win. So you could have them both as the twin aces for France, which makes me confused as to why Noel Noah said that Loki is better than everybody and that he's going to be the one to contest him for number one striker. Maybe Hugo's not a striker. Maybe that's the thing. Or maybe Loki just doesn't need his team that much, but Hugo does rely on his team to get onto that Loki level. Maybe that's why. However, this just, in my opinion, puts him above Bunny, as Bunny is a striker and isn't stated anywhere to be contesting Noel Noah. But Hugo could just not be a striker. So that could just be the issue. So with that being said, this is the list, and let me know if you have any opinions. Hopefully, like, we're going to get more information about Hugo, which I hope we do. His character design does seem pretty cool. And without further ado, that's the end of the video. Please check out my Kira scaling video, which will be much more simple than this, I guarantee you. With that, have a good day.